Let us start this session with a numerical on pseudoforce. So in this example, there is a vehicle which is moving with acceleration a, and there is a bob which is suspended from the ceiling. It's making angle theta. Now he is asking you to find this angle theta. So you can see that this is a moving body case. So you can solve this question by two methods. We will go with inertial frame. We will take ground as the reference. You can see here that if you cut this, let us say you cut this string over here, you will see tension, right? This weight of the bob is acting vertically downward, and if this angle is theta, see, if this angle is theta, you draw a line here, even this also will be theta, right? So because two parallel lines. Now if you resolve this force, so this is t, so this will be t cos theta and this will be t sin theta. Acceleration is in the left to right direction, and this is what you have taken the reference x and y. So if you apply this equilibrium condition, you know that sigma fx is equal to 0 and sigma fy is equal to 0. These are the equilibrium conditions. Okay, so here actually the object is moving towards right, so there is a net force, and that net force will be mass into acceleration, and the net force is t sine theta. Okay, it's not equal to 0 actually. So there is a net force in the x direction. However, in the y direction it is in equilibrium, sigma fy is equal to 0. So t cos theta is balanced by mg. So got two equations. So if you divide 2 divided by 1, you will get tan theta is equal to a by g, and you got the value of theta. So this is one approach. So in next approach we'll take a non-inertial frame. Okay, if you take a non-inertial frame, what are we supposed to do? The object is moving in this direction, so you have to apply a pseudo force in the opposite direction, and just solve this problem as a static equilibrium question. So similarly here also you got the same components, right? So here you have to put the equilibrium condition, apply the pseudo force, it converts into a static equilibrium question, and simply take sigma fx is equal to 0 and sigma fy is equal to 0. If you do that, t sin theta will be equal to ma in x direction, and t cos theta will be equal to mg in the y direction. Okay, so here also you are getting the same answer. You can adopt one of these two methods, whichever you are comfortable with. You get the same answer. Only to explain the concept, we are just doing in two different methods. Alright, so let's move on to the next topic, which is friction. So what basically is a friction? Friction is an opposing force. Let us say a car is running on the ground, okay, or car is going with a acceleration, definitely it will have some force on it. So these are the tires of the car. The tires of the car are in touch with the ground. So there will be a frictional force developed between the road and the tires, and it will try to oppose the motion. So this is what is basically friction in the simplest form. Okay, without friction, if you start walking, you will never stop, because friction is there. It's a kind of necessary evil. Because friction is there, you are able to stop, otherwise you will keep on walking, right? So friction basically is an opposing force. Okay, and if you see in this example, to contact force is always parallel. Friction is parallel to the contact force. Okay, this is what is written here. Friction can be between solid interface, between solid fluid and then fluid. So in this example, the tire is solid, the ground is solid. So both are solid. But so many interactions can be possible. When we talk about liquids, we say use of viscous force. Okay. So friction basically comes in two forms: static friction, static at rest, and kinetic friction when it is moving. So when car is moving, we talk about kinetic friction. But when the car is at rest, we talk about static friction. The most important thing is not contact, the person of friction. Only when two surfaces are in contact with each other, we talk about friction. Okay? It's a self-adjusting force. It's easy to say what is self-adjusting. I'll explain on the further slides. And if you increase the applied force, the static force, the static friction, it adjusts itself and it increases the maximum value, which is called the limiting friction. Simply at an example, you will understand. So frictional force basically is proportional to the normal reaction. This is done experimentally. Okay. Or frictional force is equal to some constant into normal reaction. It is called this constant is called coefficient of static friction. If we talk about static friction, it's a dimensional constant, but different surfaces or different surfaces will have different values. It's called mu s. Suffix is S. If it is suffix is A, you talk about kinetic friction. When you say kinetic friction, you write K. You write static friction, you write SS. That's basically you write the non-normal reaction and when multiply with this is constant value. So the normal reaction coming to the only when the surfaces are attached with each other. An object or wall area will have no normal reaction, or which is ground will have normal reaction. And kinetic friction is always less than the static friction. If you imagine a car moving at a standing car is more difficult, but a slightly moving car moving is more easy. If you have ever felt it, it proves that kinetic friction is less than static friction. So, if you understand this example, let me just we'll just discuss about like we were discussing that this is a self-adjusting force. Friction is a self-adjusting force. So what do I mean by that? This should be actually 30. See, imagine there is a block and you apply 10 Newton force. Okay, the block doesn't move, so the friction value will adjust for 10. Okay, then you apply 20 Newton force. The friction from this red mark in that direction, it will adjust to 20. Then you increase the force to 30. Even then the block is not moving. Then after that you slightly give even more force, 30.001. The block started to move. Slightly it started to move. So 30 Newton force is what the maximum force. So that force is the limiting friction value. Now this limiting friction value depends upon the normal reaction. It depends upon the surface. It depends upon the mu value. So in the previous slide what you have written here, that F is equal to mu s into n. So this value I am talking about now. It is 30 in this particular case. So when you apply more force than 30 Newton, it won't further readjust. The block will move. But if the force is less, the block will not move. Okay, had you applied here 15, then limiting friction will not be 30, it will be 15. So when you keep on increasing, after a certain value the block will start to move. Till then the frictional force will resist the motion. So this is the actual meaning of limiting friction. Okay, now this limiting friction, how do you find out? Means you need to find the normal reaction of, let us say, this block. How do you get this value? Means you have to find there will be a downward weight acting, so there will be a normal reaction in the upward direction. Okay, this n value you have to find out, multiply with the mu value, you get the limiting friction value. Only when the force exceeds that, it will move from its position. In the case of kinetic friction, you talk about kinetic limiting friction. So when you have multiple blocks like this, blocks arranged on top of each other, when you talk about block A and B, there will be a friction between A and B. So you have to take the normal reaction. Which normal reaction you have to take means you have to consider the mass of the A block only. If you consider block B and C, here you want to consider the friction, then this block and this block reaction you have to consider. If you want to consider block C and D, means here you want to consider the friction, you have to consider block C, block B, block A, the normal reaction because of these three blocks. So this is how we formulate the questions. Okay, so this question explains you how the friction actually develops. So there is a block given over here, the block mass is 1 kg, static friction value is given, kinetic friction value, friction coefficient is given. Now this coefficient is dimensionless. Okay, so in this situation what happens is, if you draw the free body diagram, the mg will be acting downward, the normal reaction will be acting upward. This is the external applied force and this is the friction which is developing. Because the external force is in this direction, acceleration is also in that direction. This is the coordinate system you are following. So initially, let us say this F value is 0. Okay, initially when this F value is 0, friction value also will be 0. So net force will be 0. So let us say you apply 2 Newton force. The frictional value adjusts itself to 2 Newton force. You increase the force to 4 Newton. Because this block is in static condition, it will adjust to 4 Newtons. When you apply 5 Newton, because the limiting friction value here is 5 Newton. How do I get this? Means you see here, mu s value is 0.5, mu k value is 0.4. You have to find the reaction. N is equal to mg, sigma fy is equal to 0, it is 10 Newton. Multiply this with 0.5, you get 5 Newton. Multiply this with 0.4, you get 4 Newton. So when you apply 5 Newton force, it will adjust to 5 Newton force. And 5.1 also, this will start to move. That means it will move away from static to kinetic state. So when applied force is 6 Newton, the limiting friction will now drop to 4 Newton. It won't be 5 Newton because it is in kinetic state now. So net force here will be 6 minus 4, it will be 2 Newton. So after that it is in motion, so kinetic friction, kinetic limiting value only we have to consider. Now let us say you apply 8 Newton force, the net force will be 4 Newton. You should not take 5 Newton. So this is how, in the form of diagram, it is explained over here. You can see that. But this is how the whole mechanism works. Please make a note of this point. It's very important point. Okay. Thank you. Thing we try to understand graphically, we have seen that this frictional value when there was 0 force, this is the external force what we have applied. This is the external force and this is the friction developed. So when there is no force, there is no friction. So when you increase the force, the friction got increased. It went up to a higher value of 5 Newton in the case of static. When the object started to move, it fell from 5 Newton to 4 Newton. There is a drop and then it was standard 4 Newton. So this is how we have to analyze graph. And this is the typical graph for friction versus external force. Next we'll talk about angle of friction. You see here that the friction here is mu times n and normal reaction is in the y direction. Friction is in the x direction, let us say. Angle of friction is the angle which is made with respect to the normal. This is very important point. Remember, angle of friction lambda here is the angle it is making with respect to the normal. It is not with respect to the horizontal. You have to find the normal reaction, and with respect to the normal reaction you have to always write the angle of friction. So here you have two forces, so F is the resultant force. Okay, so you can apply tangent, tan value, tan lambda will be equal to opposite by adjacent. If this is lambda, this is opposite side, this is adjacent side. Opposite side is this value and this value will be equal. it is mu n by n equal to mu. So tan lambda is equal to mu, or lambda, the angle of friction, is equal to tan inverse of mu. If you know the coefficient of friction, if you find the tan inverse, you get the angle of friction. Next we'll talk about angle of repose. So important concept. Now this is an inclined plane and you have kept a block. This theta is an angle. Okay, you kept on varying this angle, let us say 1 degree, 2 degree, 10 degree, 20 degree. At some particular angle this block starts to move. That angle is angle of repose. Angle of repose is defined as the minimum angle made by an inclined plane with the horizontal. Okay, let us say you initially took 1, you took 10 degrees then. Okay, then you took 20. At 20 the block started to move. If you put 30 then it will slide down, 40 it will slide down, but at 20 it started to slide down. That angle is angle of repose. So in this diagram actually you see this block, we have just we have found out the components of the force. mg, it is acting downward. If this angle is theta, this angle is also theta. This we have done earlier also in the class, I told. So here if this is theta, then if this is mg, this will be mg cos theta, this will be mg sin theta, two components. Okay, and here the force, let us say if it is in this direction, and this is the normal reaction. See, if the block is sliding down, the friction force will act in the upward direction. Okay, it will always oppose the motion.